Good afternoon. Freddy Vasquez here with Basement Politics Unfiltered. The weekend review. I'm going to recap the week here, so join me. Let's talk about the State of the City address, as well as St. Anne's Parish and the town hall meeting that happened this past Thursday. And what's up with Sam Borelli and the building department? What's always up with them?
Let's get it popping.
Good afternoon, I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, and this is the city of Yonkers. Hello, everyone. This is the week in review. Happy April 2nd. How many of you were fooled by the ad for Arubo for governor? I was. Maybe I'm just too into this politics stuff now. I said, wait a minute. Really? They got me. You got me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to all those that have recently tuned into Basement Politics. I was talking to an individual who said, hey, man, I caught your show. I like it. There, man, it's very interesting. I appreciate that. You know who you are? Double M. Thank you very much. So welcome to all those that are now watching Basement Politics, new to the podcast. I do a weekly review, usually do it on Friday. Yesterday was April 1st. I did a little bit early. I wanted to go out to dinner with my wife. So I didn't get to do it yesterday, but here I am. And so let's talk about it. Before I get into it, though, I do want to mention that I stopped by Gary Pretlow's event over at the Bagel Manor. Or was it Manor Bagels? He had signed a petition event there, took some pictures. I spoke to him. I actually asked him a few questions. I did get it on video, and I will be posting it up soon. So I just want to mention that. He's running for 89th District Assemblyman re-election. And I don't know, what is it with bagels and assemblymen? Is that something that, seems to be a common theme there? As many of you may know, Mike Breen, who's running for assemblyman, he's challenging Nader Sage for the 90th District. And he recently, or I don't know if he had it or he's having a Bagels with Breen event there, which is also a petition signing thing. And people have criticized that because they say you're not supposed to mix and, mingle signing of petitions with giving away bagels or any other gifts, goodie bags and what have you. Listen, I don't know. Say something. Yeah. Anyway, Breen is running against Nader. Political experts say Breen stands no chance. If they want Nader to lose, they're going to have to give him the cater treatment, right? So they're going to have to attack him, give the nasty campaign stuff, and they've already started. Right? I've mentioned the article in the Yonkers Voice. Excuse me, he's not a political guy. Doesn't get into politics. Yonkers Tribune is what I meant to say, where they spoke about, actually, a couple articles where they were criticizing Mike Breen along with his wife, Patty, and their children. I've mentioned them. I don't know if critical. I don't know. I just put the information out there, but the article was actually more critical. It was more negative, accusing them of milking the city and their children not passing tests, but still getting promoted or something to that effect. Look, I mean, if you're going to dig into one person, you got to dig into all. That's all I'm saying. At least I'm fair, right? I do it across the board. Everyone gets it, not just who I dislike. According to one lady, that's what I do. No, it's not. But yes, so the race, according to many, is the lesser of two evils. Mike Breen, Nader Sage. I've recently spoke about the Sage family, and I will be doing a podcast tomorrow titled The Sage Crime Family. Well, I'll get into more details, and I'll link it a bit more, I should say I'll link it to be more organized, right? So you can see the picture a bit more clear. So make sure you tune into that one tomorrow, 8 o'clock. It's a lot going on there. I mean, I labeled it the crime family out of dramatics, but it really is a crime family. I mean, hey, you tell me. You can watch and tell me. So again, people saying it's the race of the lesser of two evils. Does Breen stand a chance? Does he stand a chance? I think maybe. I think there's this whole movement, this whole momentum that Republicans have, and that's going to give him some, some push towards that potential, outcome of victory. People are not liking what Biden is doing, and folks, it's not about Democrat or Republican. Really, it's just about what Biden is doing. He's purposely putting us into this situation, For what reason? And some experts, and not to get off track, are saying because he's trying to cover up all the misdeeds that he's done over there. And if you've been paying attention, even the mainstream media is talking about the Biden laptop, the Hunter Biden laptop. Now it's real. So people who said that was a conspiracy, eat your words there. It's actually real. And I have pictures from the laptop. He's with a young girl in lingerie. It's sickening. And he's also smoking crack. He's smoking a crack pipe. Maybe that's why Biden is giving away free crack pipes. But that's the national stuff. I want to get back to local politics. So that's I'll be talking about the Nader Sage crime family involving medical fraud, medical insurance fraud, prescription drug dealing, sexual, and speaking of children, sex and children and sex crimes, which is a very real thing. A family member of the Sage was recently arrested for sexual conduct with children. So so you got to be careful with who you let close to your kids. But anyway, I want to make a correction also. The St. Anne's Parish Town Hall meeting, it was not District 4. I did mention, and I said, it was District 4, but it's actually District 6. So I actually feel like I belong now. I have a business in District 6. I have a childcare business. So I am impacted by what goes on there as well. So I felt like I was a part of you guys now. Had I known, I probably would have went a bit harder. Just kidding. But maybe I'm glad I didn't, right? Anyway, so I want to make a correction and also that Mike Breen, I was told, has his own vehicle. He does not just use the city vehicle, although the one time I saw him driving, he was on Roxbury off Central Avenue in a gray city provided SUV. But he does have his own vehicle. He has a vehicle he purchased. He drives, I was told, a 1988 pink Cadillac. Okay, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know what car he drives, but he does have his own car from what sources are telling me. So I do want to make that correction. Breen actually owns a vehicle. Also, I spotted the back of Breen's head the last time I saw him at the St. Anne's Parish Town Hall meeting the other day, this past Thursday, where it got a bit tense. It did. It got a bit tense as residents, the district, packed St. Anne's Church. Many have said about the possible leasing of the St. Anne's Catholic School that have been closed down for 2 years now, right? It's sat empty for 2 years to Rising Ground. Rising Ground is an organization that takes in migrant children straight from the border, takes in migrant children from the border and holds them, and for lack of a better word, holds them until they reach their final destination, which they said is with either a relative or a sponsor. Now that worries me. And I've been following this closely, actually, folks, with children here. The sponsor thing, which for whatever reason, when I hear that in my mind, it screams pedophiles. It does. And these children, if you've been following also, I've been flown into Westchester County Airport in the middle of the night on private jets. Who's sponsoring this? Who are these sponsors, right? They're flying children in from the border into Westchester County Airport on private jets in the middle of the night, where they will be then shuttled off to some relatives that are waiting for them, according to officials, or a sponsor, which is a foster care. But folks, I've done a lot of research on this. I've watched documentaries. I've watched interviews. It'll make you sick to your stomach. It'll probably make you bawl, crying if you saw the videos and interviews that I have of children giving interviews. The sex child trafficking trade is very, very real. And what's even more horrifying is that many of those involved, and this is a documented facts, many are involved are high profile individuals, elected officials, people with money, and even law enforcement officers. It's a fact, documented fact. If you're interested in learning more about it, there's a gentleman by the name of Larry King. No, not the talk show host Larry King. He's actually a black man by the name of Larry King who was prostituting young boys out of North Dakota, flying them to even D.C., into the White House. Check that out, folks. So this scares me when I hear about children being flown into Westchester County Airport in the middle of the night on private jets to go to relatives and sponsors. I mean, they're going the extra mile to bring them in private jets. It just doesn't seem kosher to me, right? So I actually reached out to a county legislator about it, and he just pretty much gave me the official press release that they're being flown to and taken to relatives or sponsors. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean exactly, right? And so that worries me. So we got to watch that there, folks. Pay attention to that. These are children. And again, the sex trafficking trade is very, very real. It's sickening, some of the things that I've heard. And it's sad because a lot of it is happening in schools, in churches, and in organizations like this Rising Ground that's looking to lease the school over at St. Anne's off Midland Avenue. And not to be negative against Rising Ground because I don't know them, but I'm not too comfortable and I have a good radar when it comes to these things. You know, enough of using people to make money. Okay, enough of that. Right. Anyway, however, on another podcast for anyway, that's another podcast for another day. You know, I want to know where the children are going, who is taking them there, who is funding this, right? And is this part of Rising Ground's business model? Am I muted? You can't hear me because I don't see where I'm muted. I'm sorry. You can't hear me? If you can't hear me, say no. If you can you say no. Yes. Yes. No. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? You should be able to hear me. If you, I don't know if you can hear me, although people have been on, so maybe you can't hear me. If someone can hear me, just please say yes, they can hear me, because I'm gonna go on and check on my phone and make sure that I can be heard. Hello, hello. Hey, yeah, I can be heard, William. I'm sorry, folks. Actually, I'm getting sound. Maybe it's something on your end there, William. I'm getting sound. But anyway, like I was saying, that's okay. But I appreciate it because I often tell people to let me know if they can't hear me. So I appreciate that, William. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. But anyway, like I was saying, that's another podcast for another day. But is that part of the Rising Grounds business model, right? Are they part of this bringing of children from the border on these private jets into the state of New York? Are they part of facilitating this so they can take these children in, right? Are they merely a shipment of goods ready to be delivered to customers by organizations that seek to strike it rich and maintain a flow of cash through these crazy spending bills, right? That are signed off by Biden recently, right? And it has he's probably signed off away his fortune. And he doesn't even know it. They just throw a stack of paper here, sign off on these executive orders. Biden, you just gave away your whole fortune. Yeah, your will now is going to your aide. But that worries me. So, you know, I reached out to, like I said, a county a legislator who just gave me the official statement. You know, he said they're being taken to relatives or whatever, right? But are organizations like this Rising Ground using these opportunities, taking this money that's being, signed off in these bills by the federal government and now bringing children from the border into communities? Not just ours in Yonkers, but throughout the state of New York and even throughout the country, right? And then impacting our communities and people create straw man arguments. And I'm going to tell you what a straw man argument is. A straw man argument is when you create something else to make the person who is making the argument, right, initially seem like a bad person because you're not making it about something else, like making it about the kids. It's about the children. And I know I've spoken to some individuals about this and that they're very sensitive to it about being the kids. And I get it, but hear me out, right? It's not about the kids, right? So if you make it about the kids, then that's a straw man argument, okay? It's about the system and what's actually happening and how they are, utilizing these kids, right? They're taking advantage and they're taking the opportunity with these migrant children who are being sent here without having relatives or anybody by parents, because you can watch documentaries and plenty of research on it. Parents are just sending them there, hoping that they, find a job over here so they can send money back to the country. So it's already a dangerous thing. So we have organizations like this that are now supporting this and then, helping acclimate individuals into communities throughout the country. Is only going to encourage these children to take these unsafe trips to the border, because what they don't tell you is how many get kidnapped, how many get raped, how many get killed, whether murdered or accidentally when they're riding on the top of these trains. Have you seen this coming up through South America and Central America on top of trains with no money. So it's a very dangerous trip. And I get that. But if you encourage it by, providing these things to say, hey, yeah, come on, so we can make money, and then you're going to impact communities, I don't agree with that. That I don't agree with. And if we want to talk about, you know, check out Jake is back. Jake, I'm not gonna get into it with you. No, by the way, why don't you show who you really are? That'll give you more respect. But anyway, so if you want to talk about kids, Jake, right? If you want to actually do something besides comment on Facebook, there are a lot of kids here in New York, in Yonkers, right? Because I've witnessed it myself, Jake. How about you? I've seen a little girl sitting in a corner on Ashburton while her mother, right, was with two guys obviously looking to get high already. And there's many other stories like that right here in the city. So why do we take away resources that we have already here in the city to provide it to those who we don't have no connection to, but are having a connection to now because organizations like Rising Ground want to make money, right? They want to utilize these grants that are being given out, right, to enrich themselves, so they have to get the kids, right? It's like the Sustainable Westchester. That's why they automatically enrolled people, because they need to have the people. So Jake, right? Maybe when you have something intellectual to say, we can have that conversation. However, so again, if you want to do something for kids, there's so much here in need for kids. Okay. So, and I get what the District 6 people were saying. They have a right, just like we have a right, whether you're Hispanic or you're Black, to have a community the way you like it and the way you like to see it. Now, is this discrimination? No, because you're making the straw man argument and you're making it about kids. These are individuals in the 6th district that are upset because their school was closed down 2 years ago. They don't have that school closed down. They have some concerns. They also are upset because of the lack of information. So this actually goes back before this Rising Ground stuff, where there's already tension there with the community and the archdiocese in that parish. So again, those who are making it about the kids are creating straw man arguments, So that's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not saying Rising Ground does not do good work. And can you tell me exactly what are they actually doing? Don't just say they do good work, because I love when people just make general statements. They do good work. They're great. They're wonderful. But what are the actual results? What are they contributing to society, right? So if they're bringing individuals into this country, right, when we're already facing overcrowded schools, overcrowded housing, there's a housing crisis. Do you not know that, Jake? In the city, in Westchester County, there's a housing crisis. So if you bring more people, what do you think that's going to do? And this is not about race, because, again, making it about race is a straw man argument. I don't care if they're Polish, they're Ukrainian, they're Russian, they're Chinese. It doesn't matter, because you know who ultimately suffers, Jake, when you bring in more individuals into the city saying we're going to help them when there's already a group of people that need help? Hispanics and Blacks. That's right. Because they're the ones that are going to have to be in the overcrowded schools now. They're going to have to be in the housing that's overcrowded, right? And it's not being kept up, not habitable, right? And even though those apartments are crap, guess what? The rent is going to go up, because as you bring in more people, the demand increases. And when you increase demand, guess what happens? The price increases because the supply goes down. That's the basic law of supply and demand. So if you can't look at it in that way, then you really can't make any comments, because what you're saying is strictly emotional. And I get it. I love the kids. I want to help kids. But do we want to be effective in helping kids, or do we just want to say, hey, let's just try to help people and not do anything really? Right? Because if you can bring me actual facts and statistics to say, hey, look at what they've done, and this is what it's contributing, it's an amazing thing, then most certainly I will agree with you and I will blast it out. But just saying it's a great program does nothing. Okay. Because if you want to make it about kids and about race, well, I can show you a lot of Black and brown kids that need your help. Okay. So when you're ready to walk those streets with me, Jake, I'll be there with you. Okay. I'll definitely be there with you. Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. Kids don't stay in Yonkers. They get placed throughout New York State. Exactly. I said that. Exactly. So now you have to think about, also, we don't want to be selfish, right? Let's not be selfish. So let's think about other communities, right, as well. okay? Because other communities may have an issue as well. People are suffering here in the United States. It's not about selfish needs. It's about how can we best help people? If our foundation itself is not strong, how can we help people? You can't build a house on a faulty foundation, right? So we need to make ourselves strong first, right? We're starting to do that. They just recently broke ground in a school. Why do you think they're building that school? Because it's needed, because it's already overcrowded. Yonkers is way overcrowded. Everywhere is overcrowded, Jake. Not just Yonkers. Everywhere. Okay. New York City, overcrowded. Ask my wife. She'll tell you. They have to spend half the time, right, dividing classes because you have a group of students that don't speak English. So what that does is that the half the time is being taken away from those that speak English, which are black and brown kids, right? It's not white kids really, it's black and brown, because the white kids are going to the good schools, the private schools. The black and brown kids are going to the public schools majority, where they are putting a lot of the migrant children. So what's happening is now class is divided. There are not enough staffing. So now kids are getting less quality, which has already been poor quality, right? So now you're making the quality poor. So if you can't understand that, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Let's go to somebody else, Jake. I disagree with you. First, Rising Ground is AKA Leaking Wasps. Yes, I understand. I remember Leaking Wasps. They chased us one time when we were over there. I used to be a little league. I played at Luddale, and we were walking home one day, and the kids started chasing us with bats and sticks. But thank God we got away. And that's not to say that they're all going to do that. I'm just saying that that's my story with Leaking Watts. I disagree with you. First, Rising Ground is AKA Leaking Watts. Second, the politicians are sucking the city dry. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. That goes without saying. And that's why there's no money for programs for our children. And no doubt. And I didn't say Rising Ground was taking the money from the children. What I'm saying, though, is that those who are supporting it here in the city of Yonkers, whether it's through financial means or just vocally, need to also give that energy, right, to what's needed here. And I'm not saying that some of you aren't also, but we have to really screen for what's needed here first. You know what I'm saying? And we could use that building, right? We could definitely use that building for kids here. Absolutely 1000%, because we need universal pre-Ks. We need more daycares. Like you said, we need more programs for kids. So the politicians that were there that day, like the James Nolan, the Anthony Morantes, the John Rubos, David Tubiolos, the Mike Breen's, you know what I'm saying? And those who are seeking to be politicians, like the Ron Mattins, you guys got to speak up and say, hey, we got an idea. If the District 6 are uncomfortable with this, which, you know what? We shouldn't force them into something that they may be uncomfortable. I don't care how you feel. Like, we have to respect people's things, right? So then why don't we do something for the schools here? Let's figure this out, right? But yes, we can go back to the politicians, right? But again, who's voting for those politicians to be in there in the first place? So that's what I'm saying. There's more, but this is the highlight. It needs to be a discussion, not a comment. Oh yeah, it definitely needs to be a discussion, not a comment. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, sometimes I don't. That's what my wife says too, I know, Jake. Leaking Watts and see they do before you go to. I've been to Leaking Watts before, and I've worked in. I love when people talk. You have no idea who Freddy Vasquez is, because you think that I'm just some guy that comes on here on a podcast and talks shit. That's not who I am, because I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through more stuff, and I probably dealt with these type of situations more so than those who are criticizing me, who are making comments, all right? Because I've worked in group homes settings for many, many years. I've worked for Family Services of Westchester, respite programs. We've picked kids up from throughout Westchester, kids that were at risk youth, right? That I built bonds with, that I love, that till this day will come up to me, and they're taller than me now, and say, hey, Mr. Vasquez, hey, how you doing? Okay, so don't talk to me about that crap. Have you done that? Have you given years of your life to do that with kids from low-income impoverished communities? And not just impoverished, because some of them were from upstate also, whose parents had money, but these kids had some emotional disabilities, and maybe even mental disabilities, behavioral problems. So we would go pick them up, because some of these parents, they got money, they don't even want to deal with their kids. They were embarrassment to them. So we dealt with them, okay? And we loved them, and we would go into their homes, okay? And I saw another one just yesterday, another kid that I dealt with, 12 years old, walking in the middle of the day, and I said, hey, what are you doing? It's a weekday. Where are you in school? I got kicked out of school. Where you headed? I'm headed to the park. The park with who? With my friends. 12 years old. I gave him my number. I didn't, I don't know what to do. I was working. I can't just take, but I don't, like this is what I see every day. So don't talk to me about it. Don't talk to me about it until you live it. Like I lived it. I've lived it. Okay. You are all wet. Go clean up your violations and read. Yeah. You talk. Jake. One minute you love me, the next minute you hate me, Jake. Whoever you are, it's actually Jake is actually a woman who comes on the show every now and then as a man to say what she wants to say because she's scared to say and use But yes, my violations. Okay, is that really what go clean up my violations? Is that supposed to do something? Listen, I got 28 violations on my daycare. You know why? Because the corrupt city and the corrupt building department, right, that doesn't allow me to get my permits, that's been holding up my permits, has caused me to get these violations because until I could get these permits, I can't have my sign. So what I said, screw you. I'm going to leave it there. You're going to give me my permits and I can rack up the violations. So I really don't care. I really don't care, Jake. So there you go. You can criticize Jay Zahi and Johnny Lima, but you cross the line when you pick on nonprofits trying to serve kids. Oh, really? Did I cross the line on nonprofits that steal money, right? And don't do a whole lot for kids? Yeah. Okay. I don't care because, you think because it's a nonprofit and that they're off limits, you don't think that they're robbing people too? You don't think that they're abusing those kids in there? Huh? You know that very well? Do you? Because I can tell you stories, Jake. I can tell you stories about some of those places. So please, don't talk to me about what you don't know. The building is too small. Nolan and Moranti are against the children using the building. They tried to make it political and had a meeting bad-mouthing the children. After the teacher put Moranti in his place and told the politicians to stop dividing the community, the politicians never spoke up. Absolutely. The politicians divide and conquer. That's what they do. That's part of the political tactics that they do to control people. Again, they're supporting the children here in the city of Yonkers because they were in support of the building that was going up on McLean Avenue, right? It's not about the kids, though. Again, it's a straw man argument. And I didn't hear them say anything about the kids when I was there. They could have when I left. I don't want to say that because I wasn't, but it's not about the kids. It's not. And that's a straw man argument. I know someone that robbed GoFundMe money from his non-for-profit. Truth will come out in the wash. Yeah, that robbing stuff, yeah. Nolan and Moranti should be ashamed of. Well, look, people should be ashamed of themselves for a lot of things, okay? Not just this, for a lot of things, all right? And I'm not against you, Jake. I'm full support of children. I'm in full support of children because God knows that I've done a lot to try and help not just children, grown-ass adults who can't get it together still, okay? Because I can show you the text messages even from this week of grown adults looking for my help once again. And I don't mean to put it out there like that. It's just I'm tired of people coming at me and looking at me and criticizing me. Oh, Freddy, when I've done so much, and those that criticize me haven't done a damn thing. I haven't. That's what's sad. If you haven't done a damn thing, how dare you even criticize someone who's done so much more? Out of my own pocket, because the government doesn't give me $1. The city doesn't give me $1. I get nothing in grants, not $1. And any donation I've ever gotten has been in goods, clothing, sandwiches, meat. It's never been in money. In fact, I got robbed donating to somebody, and I'm not even going to say which organization it was here in the city that robbed me. Okay, please get out of here with this nonsense, yo. Get out of here with the nonsense, yo. I don't speak. If I believe in talking shit, I don't agree. I mean, I don't disagree with talking shit. But what I say is, if you talk it, just back it up. That's all. And so that's what I believe. Going back to St. Parish thing. Listen, again, that's no one said anything about kids or anyone of color. Okay, it wasn't that, and that's a strong MA argument. That's just what I believe. Again, I'm not against kids, and anyone that says that is definitely just talking out their rear end, because I am for kids. In fact, the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm for kids, for the kids that are in so much need here that I have been screaming about, right? And you think that these organizations do such great things. I'm not saying that none of them do. Sure, they are. But I've also seen organizations that do horrible things because I've seen it and witnessed it, and it's well documented. And you can go online and research, and they'll show you plenty of these nonprofits that everybody says, oh, they're so good. And they were prostituting kids out, okay, let alone abusing them and everything else. So that's just the reality of our world. Okay, so I don't want to hear this fake nonsense. Bring me the actual, proof of what they do. What is it that's so positive? What is it that's so positive that they're doing? Where are these kids going? Who are these sponsors? How do you know they're not selling kids off? There's plenty of stories. I can show you plenty of messages from families, parents that I've received personally, right? Complaining about foster care system stealing kids, and then giving them up for adoption to God knows who. So don't tell me about that. These organizations are so great. I don't want to hear that. That's such nonsense. Such nonsense because you've been sold on the idea. Okay. I stayed the whole meeting. There was a realtor yelling she was fine. Yeah, I saw that realtor. They stayed the whole meeting there. There was a realtor yelling she would find sites in White Plains, but did not want the kids in her backyard. They would lower the value of their home. No, I saw that lady. Yeah, I agree with you, Carolyn, on that. I do think that she was a little bit, and am I saying that people don't have, there's not undertones of racism? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that people also have a right to say what, feel how they want to feel. If they want to, we don't want a certain change in our community, then they have that right. If they're paying taxes there, they have that right to make that opinion. And then to make those people look like they anti-kids or they hate kids, I think that's wrong. I think that that's wrong. And I don't think we should be made about that. Let's stick to what the facts are. Right. And sure, you're going to have some people that don't like kids or they're racist or whatever, but we all have our things that we don't like that's not right, including you, Jake. Everybody has their bias. I don't care who you are, okay? Because there's been many Hispanic people that have been racist against black people, many black people that have said things about white people. They wouldn't allow this. So it doesn't, we're all that way, okay? We are all that way. So let's stop with the nonsense because otherwise we're going to continue to stay divided, right? Thinking that we each are better than the other when we're not. We're all flawed. God tells us so, okay? That's why Jesus was put on the cross for our sins. Okay. So stop acting like you all guys are, some of you are without sin. All right. And are without biases, so you are. And I'm just saying that let's focus on what the facts are and what it's about. And it's not about the kids. That's a straw man argument. But there were absolutely some people there that were maybe racist. Some people were yelling. Some people didn't want their community changing. But what's wrong with like the woman that stood up and said, you know what, my people, the Italians, we don't have our Italian mass anymore. What's wrong with her saying that? Because how many times when we go up and say my people, or you do a Black Lives Matter, or my Latinos, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with having pride in your people and wanting to have something for your people? I don't see that. What's wrong with it? Shouldn't be right for one group and not for the other. That's all I'm saying. Agree. Communication is needed. They closed the school with 1 day notice. That is why exactly. The community is so angry. Sadly, at the end of the day, the final decision is by the archdiocese. And they said that. And they said that they weren't mad at the father. I felt bad for the father because he seemed to be in the middle of it. But the archdiocese is all about making money. And again, that's what my original point here is about. It's about money. And that's it. Bottom line. So you can say this, oh, they're great. They do this, they do that. But really, their end goal is to make money. Otherwise, they wouldn't get out of bed and they wouldn't deal with those kids. Not one of those CEOs or whoever was up there. Okay, because I doubt that bald head Jewish guy with the glasses would spend a day of his life with those kids if it wasn't that he was making his money and running this organization. Okay, I'm willing to bet $10,000 on that. So that's just the reality of it. I found out the priest that spoke Italian was moved to Hopewell Junction. That is why the masses stopped. No, Jake, the rising ground. See, again, Jake, you like to create that straw man argument. There's a thing called Webster's Dictionary. Go up there and check out the definition. You're creating it again. Straw man argument. Anyway, let's move on, folks. Let's move on to the State of the Union address. Let's be positive. Anybody saw the State of the Union address? State of the Union. State of the City address. Mayor Mike Spano. I believe it was Thursday night, maybe a Wednesday night, gave it was a great performance. It was very big. And it must be because Lionsgate was a part of it. Did you see the way if you watched it, the way they introduced this Yonkers, they used the Lionsgate, the gears and all that intro that they do before their movies. And then instead of saying Lionsgate, it said Yonkers. That was dope. That was super dope. I gotta admit that was dope. Now, the president, they call him the president. The mayor of the city is like the president from what people say here. But he spoke about the bright future that we are going to see here in the city of Yonkers. And I see it. I get it. My question is, who is this bright future for? Right? Yonkers Mayor Mike Spano delivered his 2022 State of the City address to invited guests. Hey, I wasn't invited. Come on, guys. To invited guests on the evening of March 30th. The event took place at Lincoln School Auditorium, which recently received $3 million in renovations and upgrades. In addition to highlighting accomplishments of the administration, Spano emphasized the theme that the city had worked its way out of past problems to become an unstoppable force for the present and the future. Fourth term. Jake, now I'm agreeing with you, Jake. Jake, now we are on the same page, Jake. And I like when we're on the same page because we actually do good together. We actually do good together. Now you want to insult me now. Be a real investigator and start making veiled accusations. You need to listen to Carolyn. She is the guardian angel of Yonkers. No, Carolyn is definitely a guardian angel of Yonkers. Absolutely. And I get it. But Carolyn is a very sweet person. And when you're super sweet sometimes, they say love is blind. They would change over your mind. But absolutely right. I do agree with you guys. Absolutely. I thought the same thing, William. Sounds like he's gunning for another term, 1,000%. That was what was on my mind. When I saw it, I said, oh, I know it for sure. 1,000%. The mayor is going for a fourth term, and he's making it look nice. And Mayor, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job making it look nice. I don't want to take credit for any of this because then I don't want to be narcissistic, egotistical, right? But ever since I've been doing Basement Podcast, I've noticed the cool little videos that have been going up, from the city of Yonkers. Are you guys trying to count in my video presence? And also, I want to point out one thing that he did mention, which I think is super dope, is the new school for film arts. And I do want to share that. Check this. Oh, no, that's the job. We're going to speak about that. But this is what I want to show you guys. This is going to be incredible. 6 through 12. Let me just make sure that I'm getting the audio there. But this is going to be awesome. I mentioned this. I did, and I spoke to a lot of the elected officials, and now it's happening. There were whispers about it, but now it's going to actually happen. So check it out.
Business Journal and WestFairOnline.com, Peter Katz reporting. Yonkers Mayor Mike Spano announced during his State of the City message last night that Great Point Studios and the Yonkers Public Schools will be building a new movie and TV production school for children grades 6 through 12 as part of Great Point's second movie and TV studio campus to be built in the Ludlow section of Yonkers. They plan to have 500 students attending the new school by 2024. The theme of Spano's address, Unstoppable Yonkers. The Department of Motor Vehicles office at the White Plains Mall closes for good at the close of business today. The mall will be torn down to make way for the Hamilton Green mixed-use project, due to begin construction in June. DMV says its new White Plains DMV office at 1 Maple Avenue won't be ready until fall. The Biden administration is considering taking another 100...
You know what? We're done there. But yes, so it will be from grade 6 to 12, the new film arts program. People are already criticizing it. I'm not being critical of it just yet. I want to be positive because I mentioned this the minute they said they're building this Lionsgate Studios. I said in post, and I will share when it comes up in the memory. And I've also spoken to individuals like Vinny Spano. I've spoken to Steve Levy, deputy mayor, and other elected officials. Say, hey, wouldn't it be dope if Lionsgate would do a film program with the students? And then we started to hear rumors about it. And then here we go. So it's great. I'm glad that it's happening. I'm not saying that it was because of me. I'm just saying that I thought it was a great idea from even before the conception. So I'm going with it all the way positive. I think it's great, for students. There is the criticism, and I will mention what it is. Some people are saying, well, which students will be able to be in this program? So we have to wait and see. So chill. The fact that this is coming to Yonkers is kind of dope. I like it. I want to see more for kids. I kind of am against always like sports and TV and being famous for kids, especially Black and Latinos. Like we need to expand our horizons. But hell, I'll take this right here. I'll take it any day of the week. I'll take it any day of the and twice on Sunday, as they say. Yep. Joe Cotter is buying Nader Sage building. Oh, which one? Because I hear he's selling his office over there in Getty Square. He wanted $6.5 million. Joe Cotter is the owner of the land that the Greenpoint Studios and Lionsgate sits on. He owns that entire area. That guy, Joe Cotter, Mr. Cotter, can you please come and meet with me? Please, 914-467-0597. I don't need the prank calls, guys. Please. Whatever. It doesn't bother me really, but just don't do it. Call me because I love to spend some of your money on the city of Yonkers for the youth. I got some great ideas. Great ideas. I'll make you look good, Mr. Cotter. You can actually come out and be more public. All right. So just reach out to me. Great program for our kids. I agree 1,000%. Investigate Joe Cotter. Jay, I told you, when me and you get along and we on the same page, we can do some amazing things. I'm already on it, Jake. I'm already on it. That's Mr. I Park, right? Mr. I Park. They designed that I Park area, the logo and everything. 1,000%. Hello, the beginning song, Unstoppable, was the passive-aggressive way of saying he is going to for the fourth term. 1,000%, Carolyn. Way to pick up on that. Absolutely. Right away, I said fourth term. You know why? Hey, Rubo is going to be crying. Rubo, I got a box of tissues I can sell you. You're going to be upset because I know you were the golden boy and you had these high hopes. But hey, you got the business there, right? Where'd you get that money from? Where'd you get the money, the loan? What kind of a loan was it? And who guaranteed that loan? Who else took out that loan and then ended up defaulting on it, causing the city to have to pick up the tab? But they're still in business. Yeah, we're going to do a lot of investigating stuff. You guys better give me my permits before I start. Yeah, man, I don't want to do that to certain people. They might end up they're going to get divorced. People are going to get divorced here in the city of Yonkers before it's all said and done because I got that juiciness. And I'm not just talking about words, Jake. I'm really trying to be real mild here. Like I like my buffalo wings, mild. But if I have to get spicy, Hawaiian, what's that flavor over at Wingstop? I don't know, the real spicy one, Louisiana burn. I'm going on them, baby. And then I'm going to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm going to go to my 6,000 square foot home, take my elevator up to my suite, and decide whether or not I want to go swimming. City Hall. So you guys decide how you want to handle it. I'll just respond from there. But I'm actually investigating into that absolutely 1,000%. Nader Sage is selling a lot of property for more than what the market is really asking for. And I hear he's almost like strong-arming these guys. He won 6.5 or something like that for that. Or maybe, I don't know if you're talking about that property, 8.5. And by the way, FBI, DOJ, Attorney General, Inspector General, Southern District of New York. If you guys want to find information and evidence to medical fraud and other illegal activities, check out the garage over at 102 Park Avenue behind the building there. Raid that shit now. Raid that shit now. Go, go, go. Hold on, I gotta get some sound effects. Damn, I don't got the right sound effects.
Like I said.
Go right now. It's go time. Before they get it out of there. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy this year. Anyway, but that's what it looks like. Unstoppable. Yeah, look, the Spanos are unstoppable. Those guys have built a path. They cleared a path for themselves. That's tough. A lot of people want to see them go down. Look, I think that what we need to do is focus on voting. You want to change the system. You want to change, who our elected officials are. You have to vote certain individuals out. We got to stop supporting it. And then we also have to start calling out those who do support, because there are many people here in the city of Yonkers that support these individuals simply to enrich themselves because they got the job, their wife got the job, their kids got the job. So now they vote and they make other people vote, right? So we have to call those people out as well, because we have to, take their legs from them, right? And we all are the legs, actually. We all stood up. We knocked the table over that they're playing this game on. Carolyn for mayor. That's right. Carolyn for mayor. I'll vote for you, Carolyn. You got my vote for sure, Carolyn. Carolyn for mayor. But yeah, so he spoke about the schools and that program that he's going to bring. I think it's an amazing program. He also spoke about all the new electric charging stations that they're going to be putting throughout the city of Yonkers for electric vehicles, right? We're going as a country all green. But again, folks, that's another myth. And I'm not here to debate you on climate change. It's, I mean, Jesus Christ, common sense. Guys, remember that we had an ice age before? How did the ice melt? Was it pollution? Was it all the vehicles that did not exist back then? Did you know that this has happened time and time again throughout the history of this planet? Right? So why all of a sudden are they blaming it on climate change? Why are they blaming it on pollution and cars? Because it's another industry that they're creating to get rich. Geez, how many times they're going to do wash, repeat? What is it? Wash, rinse, repeat? That's what happens here. Wash, rinse, repeat. Folks, there's a pattern. It's a pattern. You want to know why the climate that we're having is so crazy and whacked out lately? And you've probably noticed it. Cold, warm, cold, snowing. I don't know if you noticed the constant full moons back to back because the poles are shifting. This is a fact. You remember the earthquake in Japan? That tilted the earth significantly. Now the poles are shifting 30 miles a year. Go research that. I just gave you something else to look up and inform yourself and educate yourself on. There's a difference between actually education and knowledge, okay? Understand that. But yes, that's what the cause of it all. So the cities wants to go green. They got Sustainable Westchester now, robbing people, forcing them into this program. But did you notice that Con Edison is doing all this work? Like they're all over Yonkers, breaking up the streets, causing my rims to get all jacked up. I don't even wash my car because what's the point? Have you noticed that, guys? So if they're looking to transfer people over, but I guess is Con Edison just going to be the distributor, just the provider, right? What they basically did is created a middleman, because if Con Edison is still the one that providing it through their supply chain, right, through their distribution channels, but then you're paying Sustainable Westchester, don't you think you're going to pay more? Demand is going to go up for electricity as more and more people start to use it. That's going to jack up the price. Gas is going to one day be 50 cents a gallon because nobody's going to want it. So they're jacking it up. They're making people hate gas for that reason. So you can be, I hate gas. Let's go switch this climate change. Go green, go green. Listen to CNN, go green. And that's what it's all about, folks. Absolutely. If you get rid of Zahi, who will end climate change by getting rid of... Jake, why don't you be a co-host of mine? You should come on. Yes. Well, have you seen his neck? It's filled up with a lot of hot air lately. Actually, he doesn't have a neck. So now Zahi went from Zahi, Mr. ABC Jarris, to Zahi, Head and Shoulders Jarris. He lost his neck along the way. Recently, a photo of him showed his neck missing. If you have seen Zahi Jarris's neck, please email me at politicwithfred@gmail.com. You will get a free car wash at the Thornwood Car Wash. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But anyway, he also spoke about jobs. I want to show this also. Employment. He's talking about, Mayor, the great thing about Lionsgate is all the jobs they're going to create. How many people have been hired? Has anybody that may be watching this, is watching now, is going to watch it, you were hired? Are you working at Lionsgate currently? Anybody? 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 Right? Well, I've looked up at the website and Lionsgate and the jobs links and the listings. And one thing is for sure, you have to be fully vaccinated. So if you're not fully vaccinated, you're not getting any of the jobs at all. I think that orange car was mine there when they took this picture. Just kidding. Yeah, so these are the jobs, studio jobs in Yonkers. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right. They're looking for a stage manager. Anyone with stage manager experience? Anyone? We are seeking a stage manager to join our growing production facility management and operations team. This position will be housed in Yonkers. The position will be responsible for serving as liaison between studio operations and production daily. A successful candidate will be passionate. Of course, we are all passionate, self-motivated. Now that's hard to find. Proactive, even harder. Quick thinking, less and less these days. Flexible, everyone's flexible. Able to pivot when necessary. Through and able to juggle multiple, well, they're teaching kids to juggle here in the schools, that's for sure. So they will be able to juggle multiple and diverse responsibilities with a strong emphasis on organization and an unwavering attention to details at all times. This is a demanding and fast-moving position that requires someone who is a proactive and positive thinker. That's me. And able to exercise good judgment and communication. That's not me. Responsibilities. Now, this is where it's important, folks. This is what's important. Forget the responsibilities. You can see that they're accustomed to working in fast-paced environments. The system will stay, boom, bam, bing, bam, bing, boom, boom. Skills and attributes. Excellent attention to detail, boom, bam, bing. You can check that out. What's important is the qualifications. 3+ years experience in production or studio operations in the entertainment industry specific. They're using the word specific to campus operations and facility management. Must be fully vaccinated with proof of vaccination for hire. Now, who is that? Please raise your hand if you meet these qualifications here in the city of Yonkers. Because according to the State of the Union address and what we see here, 75% of the jobs, right, that will be filled at Lionsgate will come from residents of Yonkers. Is that so? How so? Now, here's the kicker. And this is what they're not telling you. They are building those developments on the waterfront for all the movie studio people that are already in the industry that are not living here in Yonkers yet, who are going to move here once they clear out all the crap. Then they're going to close off that area and it's going to be private and it's going to be movie studio people owning. Yeah, you don't see it now because it's hard for most folks nowadays to have vision because their eyes are all into their iPhones and Facebook. But if you can see past that, you will see where this is headed. And I will give you a perfect example. It's a place called Pinewood, Georgia. They called that place the Hollywood of the South. What happened in the Hollywood of the South? Exactly what I told you. They built up this studio, and eventually the studio people got tired of traveling and said, why don't we just buy homes there? And guess what? We're rich studio people, so let's pay a lot of money for them. Let's build up the area. And now everyone else who's poor and not in the movie studio is getting priced out. And they eventually did. And that's what happened. So now as we become the Hollywood of the Northeast or of the Hudson or whatever you want to call it, that's what's going to happen, folks. You're going to all get priced out. That place is not going to look the same. Why do you think they're letting Getty Square go to ish? Why do you think AMS has yet to really develop that area yet? Okay, it's little by little. They're going to get all those businesses out of there. So if you got a business up in Getty Square or you SNAs and Yonkers Fried Chickens, you are not welcome in the new development phase of the unstoppable Yonkers with the bright future. That's the truth, folks. And I'm giving it to you raw, unbiased, and unfiltered. And I'm Freddy Vasquez. And if you want to know more, just ask. And Jake, I appreciate you as always. You are one of my favorites. Wrong. Okay, no, I'm wrong, but I will agree with you with this. Wrong. The 75% of jobs are going to Spano family and friends. Yeah, that's the only way it's going to happen. If you have some connections, then you can lie about being vaccinated and about having the qualifications, right? And you can screw up all those movies at Lionsgate Studio. And I hope that they have more equipment than what they showed there because that was crap. Okay, I have more of that right here in my podcast studio now. So can I run the damn program if that's all you're going to have? And I won't take any money. I promise you that. I promise you that. He lied about crime and graduation statistics. You know, it's hard to find statistics, recent statistics, and honest statistics. And this is what I've said before. And people will say I'm a conspiracy theorist. People, they fudge the numbers. If, let's say, I'm the guy that's tasked with providing and producing the numbers, right, so the public could see it, right, because somebody is in charge of that. They have to print it out. They have to put it together. They have to show it to the people, right? And then someone comes to me, hey, Freddie, we need you to fudge the numbers. Either you're going to get fired or we're going to give you some money. Plata o plomo, right? That's how the cartels would say it. Plata o plomo. You either take the money or you take the bullets. And most people, if they're smart, will take the money. And that's what they do. And then they fudge the numbers and then they present it and say, look, We got graduation rates are sky high. Oh, we've done so great. And I know this because of experience with it in the city of New York, actually. So they do fudge numbers. Okay. So, Carolyn, you could very well be right. Very well be right. When will Jimmy Nolan get a job at I don't know if he wants a job at Lionsgate. Doesn't he have a job? I don't know if he wants. She's got my vote. William is going to vote for Carolyn, and so am I. Carolyn, that's 2 people right there. And I promise you that if you see my signature on Carolyn's petition, it was me. It definitely was me. Oh, and let me talk about really quick before I get off. Voter fraud. I know people don't like to think that it's real, unfortunately. And folks, I'm on your side, people. I'm not on the politician's side. I'm not. I'm on the people's side. And I'm telling you this, sometimes the truth is not easy to swallow, right? The messenger gets shot all the time. But voter fraud does exist here in the city, here of Yonkers, here in the county, Westchester, and it does happen in the country. And it did happen in the elections, but that's another podcast for another day. But here in the city, how does it happen? It's called absentee ballots. Also, you know what people do from what I'm learning? This is incredible. Why didn't I think of it? I guess I don't think like a thief. Well, just before the elections, they'll go up and they'll get ballots for people. But before they do that, they have to know which people's ballots to get. So what do? They go to the obituary section. Who just recently died? I mean, if it's literally like a week or less before the elections, that's not going to get caught up. So they go, oh, Tommy Meyer. Oh, whoever, they died. Let's get their ballots and let's vote, put their ballot in for the candidate we want. And that's how you get dead people to vote. And if we looked at our elections and we went through the ballots, I can guarantee you, folks, there's going to be quite a few number of dead people that voted in our past elections. That's how it happens. So the Westchester County Board of Elections, you have to stop letting people go up there and grabbing ballots for other people. How the hell is that even legal? That makes no damn sense. How do you let other people go up there and just grab a bunch of ballots? You gotta keep an eye on the Westchester County Board of Elections. Can I please put my own security cameras there during election season? Just kidding. But that's how it happens. Election fraud. And then they also take ballots and they go bring the people here, just sign here. Some people don't even know. They're like, okay, whatever. Bring them something, especially the elderly. This is how they take advantage here in the city of with the ballots, the absentee ballots, or going up to the Board of Elections, grabbing ballots, then going to the elderly people who, come on, you're taking advantage. Unbelievable. That's horrible. John Mueller is interviewing with MTA as head of their police. Well, John Mueller's out the door. I saw that coming. They want to get rid of him, and they're going to put someone else in. I can see Tim Hodges. If that happens, I bet you Tim Hodges becomes a police. And not saying that Tim or anyone told me this. Watch. Remember I said that. I want to start building my credibility so you guys just shut up and just listen. Just kidding. Just kidding, Jake. I love you. The Board of Elections keeps people on the voter list, and after 10 years of not voting, then they take them off. Yeah, what if they die? How long do they keep them on there? The Board of Elections is a who's who of both parties. Absolutely. Thomas Meyer Sr. is the head of the Democratic Committee's sons, works there and is a supervisor. A lot of individuals that are connected to people. Remember Zahi's sister, I believe, Sarah Zahi, mentioning Tom. Now that you mentioned Tom Meyer, I believe she works over at Tom. That was the one? Was it Sarah? No, it wasn't Sarah. Was it Sarah? Zahi's sister or sister-in-law, someone tied to Zahi, found 18 ballots miraculously in the basement of the Board of Elections building. Over there, I think it was on Saw Mill, because that was the one with the basement where they keep all the machines and everything, in favor of Nick Spano to beat out Andrea Stewart Cousins the first time. How did she do that? How did Zahi? Damn, Zahi, you went awesome everything. Listen, to Judge Ada Medina, is it really worth it? If you are running for judge and you have a man that's been convicted of political corruption, influencing elected officials to vote in ways that benefits and enriches his friend so he can make money under the table, was convicted and caught. And he went to jail, and you hired this guy, and now he's got your step-pops going out to collect checks. Don't you think that that's bad? Do you think that, you know what happens here? What happens is that, this happened to Sandy and Nabi. They think that they're going to get away with it because they think that these individuals are so untouchable. But look, remember, the small fries are the ones that get picked up first because they want you guys to talk. They're hoping to break you. And that's what they did with Zahi, because around that time, they were going after Nick Spano. So they got Zahi because he had all that shit on him, and they knew if they squeezed him, they could get him to talk. But he didn't talk. Why? Think about that. Think about the why. Why didn't that man talk? When the feds come for you, they got something. And if you think you're going to beat them, you may, but it's very, very small chance. So you are taking a huge risk spending all that money and blowing trial and getting a full sentence. So why did he risk that? Because they wanted him to talk. They wanted Zahi to talk. Zahi, listen, Mr. Head and Shoulders, let's just be straight up with each other, all right? How you doing? I shake your hand. Never met you before. Let me shake your hand. You are the most powerful man in Yonkers and Westchester politics. And I know some people are going to say, Freddie, why did you say that? Ah! I'm going to keep it honest. I keep it honest. Zahi, you are the most powerful man. Zahi Juris from Precision Strategies, you are the most powerful man in politics in Westchester and the city of Yonkers. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And I'm going to tell you why.
I was raised in housing.
It wasn't because I was raised in housing. Definitely not. But I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. He, I should say, has all of the information. He has all of the secrets, the dirt, every single thing. He has it right here. And maybe documented on paper as well. DOJ, did you get to 102 Park? 102 Park, not 106 in Park, 102 Park. Did you get there yet? Zahi has all the information right here. Information that will topple this dynasty that so many of you hate. And that is why he is allowed to operate with impunity here in the city of Yonkers. It's Nick's aide that took people down. Do your research. Which aide? Just say the name. She took who down? They got Zahi back from his car wash fraud in Brooklyn. They started investigating him there. They knew what he was doing. They didn't really want Zahi. They didn't want him. They wanted him to talk. He could have got 0 time, guaranteed. He could have took a deal, I'm sure. But he didn't. Why? And I'm like, why? Why did this guy take a deal? He was assured that nothing was going to happen. He didn't think he was going to do the 4 years. He thought he was going to go to trial. They got my back. And it didn't happen. So he ended up going to jail. So what happens? You got to take care of the man that has all the info, right? So the man gets 5 or 6 of his nephews just before he goes upstate into jobs within the city. Why? Can you give me some tea? Green tea there. That thing I like. Thank you. Why? He got 5 or 6. His wife headed over to DPW. Or was that at that time? Why? Who was keeping Zahi Jeris's commissary nice and fat? Who was putting money on his books? Who? Yonkers, who? Who took care of that man for 4 years? I'm going to let the FBI do that. Although I have been researching it. But it's so much, Jake. It's so much. Like, it's like, and then to present it to people, it just would, it has to be like in a way. Like, see this, they like this. This is what they like. They love this. Yeah, who was putting money on Zahi Jeris's books? Find that out. Who was sending him packages? Find that out. What did he like? Find that out. Why didn't he rat? Why didn't Zahi rat? Find that out. Did he think he was going to go to jail? No. 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 So at the end of the day, individuals, thick as thieves. Thick as thieves. And Freddy would love to just get his permits, get his contract, and do things for the kids here in the city of Yonkers. Yeah, our kids. Thick as thieves. So they'll never. But Zahi is making a play. Zahi is making a play because he knows this. And now is the time. Zahi, are you going to go against the fourth term? Are you going to push Nader through that? That's going to be a big war. But are you going to use the information that you have to your advantage? That's what I want to know. Zahi, you are very powerful, dog. You are very powerful. How do you think Zahi got? Look, the man went to jail. His nephews had to get jobs. His wife had to get a job, all with the city. He had to sell his house because the feds came for everything. Right? They just like they came for Nadeem. That's why he gave half of that car wash to Jeris. But they came for the house. He had to sell it. Then he came out of jail. He was staying with mom, and now he got a house in Scarsdale with a big ass $200,000 pool. How did he do that, folks? How did he do that? Think. How did that happen? Who's he protecting? Who's he protecting? Zahi, you are powerful, dude. Let's get together, man. We can run this whole thing, baby. Me and you. You get the Arabic community. I'm going to get the Hispanic community. And we're going to run this whole show. Let's do it, Zahi. Me and you. And Jake. Jordanians sell drugs. Jake, that's a racist comment, Jake. Why don't you just act like, that's a racist comment. Jordanians sell drugs? Damn, I wish you weren't so right. Because that is a racist comment. Damn, you are right. And I don't want to generalize, not all Jordanians, but when I speak about my Sage crime family on Sunday, best believe we will be talking about the Jordanian drug dealers. Who's been selling drugs here in the city of Yonkers? The Grow House. Just a thing, man. Look, the Kennedys were bootleggers, right? You got to start somewhere, I guess, huh? Even Zahi was caught with a bunch of pounds of marijuana. Hey, Judge Ada Medina, did you know that? Did you know Zahi got arrested? He had a bunch of pounds of marijuana in his car once. But Zahi, you are the most powerful man, brother. And I got to be honest. I know some people are going to hate that I said that because they don't want me to feed your ego. But by the looks of it, you're feeding yourself just fine. I don't have to feed you anymore. I can't, I don't think. It's just not going to fit anywhere. But you are the most powerful man in Yonkers. You have that information. Man, how does that feel? Can you let me know some of it? I just want to know. I won't tell nobody. Promise. Text me. Email me. Give me a prank phone call and give me some information through one of your prank calls. Man, but you are. So I wanted to say that. Think about that, folks. Why did Zahi not say a word? Why did he take that to trial when it came to the Ridge Hill corruption scandal? Did he believe that he can beat it? And if so, why? And when he didn't beat it, why did his family members get jobs with the city? And who was keeping his commissary fat? That's the goods that people bring money. They put money on your books so you can buy stuff in jail, because jail is like a getaway. It's like a vacation nowadays. Yes. I've seen guys with cell phones. I saw a video of guys in jail with cell phones with Domino's pizza, wings, garbage cans full of ice and sodas. Yo, true story. So that's what jail is. And, yeah. So who was paying for all that stuff? Who was putting that money on his books? Why? Why did he think he could beat that? And they didn't want him back in politics. Trust me. They wanted him to stay far away. Who's giving him money? And why? I'm Freddy Vasquez, the bow tie guy. Jake, trust me, you don't know a lot about me. There's a lot of things a lot of people don't know about me. They could think they know. They may try to find out. Maybe they may know. But I don't know. I've always played this game. I don't know. Maybe it's just my paranoia I don't know. Maybe I'm a paranoid individual, but I've always tried to keep, and everything I've done, that's what I said. Let's go to war. Because all kings must have armies and resources. Otherwise, they cannot be kings.
Freddy wins.
No, that was not. I'm going to kill somebody. I put MI6 once. MI6 is the intelligence agency for the United Kingdom, Great Britain. Like we have the CIA, they have MI6. And somebody said, Freddy is violent. He put M16. I think that was Yonkers' voice. Yeah, Yonkers' voice. It wasn't none about guns. I'm just. Have a nice day, folks.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Oh, man, I gotta love it. I love it.
Let's get it popping.
This is Basement Politics. I am Freddy Vasquez. I am that guy. Yes. Please, think about it. Zahi, you are the most powerful man in the city of Yonkers, politics, Westchester County. It's over. Freddy's gonna expose it all. And not just Freddy, it's a lot of people. Then I'm gonna go to that pool right there. You saw that pool? Did you guys see that pool right there? That's what I'm talking about, baby. I don't need your jobs. I don't need your money. What I need is my permits, because my wife, I love her so much. But try me. I'm going all the way. Any which way. Monday. I want my permits Monday, or the mistresses is coming out. And who has an illegitimate child? Holy shit! Somebody got an illegitimate child in Yonkers. Fuck out of here. I'm going to call the IG up in the state of New York. Is it okay for Councilwoman Majority Leader Tasha Diaz to threaten a business? And I got the guy on video and everything talking about it. Threaten a business on McLean, threatening to use her power to shut them down because she didn't like the way that the owner, her daughter's boss, moved her to another location because her daughter was beefing with another employee. Is that okay? Then they have police officers. Oh, hold on. I'm going to show you a picture. Hold on. Anyway, I'm going to post a picture up. Who has a police plaque? Why does this man got a police plaque? Why does this individual over there on McLean Avenue got a police plaque issued from the city, from City Hall, Yonkers City Hall? Can I get a police plaque? I'm a businessman here too. Can I get a police plaque? He caused an accident between a city bus and another individual, and the city bus driver got in trouble. Yes, That's why I'm pissed off, because the city bus driver who's working, hardworking man who doesn't have a police plaque and doesn't drive a Mercedes Benz got in trouble for that accident because of your dumb ass. I'm putting you all out there on blast. Tired of you guys.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vasquez.
Let's get it popping.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
No!
Freddy wins. Fatality.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
Come on, give it to us straight. 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 Come on, give it to us straight.
Again, folks, we're going to talk about the illegitimate children, the mistresses, the affairs, all that. The pictures are coming out. I wish I had DNA results, but I'll leave that for the spouses to go get.
Come on, give it to us straight. Come on, give it to us straight. Come on, give it to us straight. Come on, give it to us straight.
I will. I promise you that,
Come on,
baby.
give it to us.
I
Come on,
promise
give it
you
to us
that. I'm
straight.
going to give
Come
it
on,
to you
give
straight.
It to us straight.
Freddy wins. Fatality. Game over.
No!